You are listening to the Unsoberly Sober Show. I'm your host, Magnify Maggie. This podcast will turn your perception of going sober upside down. We're going to be working from the inside out to get you that dream life. So make sure you stick around for the end of the episode where I'm going to walk you through our weekly positive pursuit exercise to begin rewiring that beautiful mind, baby. Hello, my free and powerful friends. Welcome back to the holiday edition episode of Unsoberly Sober. If you are listening, then it is almost Thanksgiving. It is almost time for all of those holiday gatherings, all of the work festivities, work parties. Maybe your in-laws have Christmas and then your family has Christmas, and then maybe your cousins and then your work family and Friendsgiving and all of these things, right? All of these events coming up. And you're wondering, do I go sober or not? Because here's all of these events and I can't imagine going through them sober, but I don't want to get to January 1st and be in an even bigger rut than I'm in right now. This episode is devoted to helping you wrap your mind around giving the holiday season a sober go. That might also mean moderation. If you're just like, I absolutely fucking can't do full-on sobriety in the holidays, I would challenge you to check that attitude, because attitude is everything. But also, I'm willing to meet you where you're at. If you're like, hey, I can't go completely sober, but I'm ready to moderate, give me some tips, give me some mindsets, then that's what we're all about. So progress over perfection. I believe in harm reduction as a valid source to improve your health and maybe even be a stepping stone towards full sobriety. Now, here's what I want to start this episode off as, and this is how I have become a masterful holiday jubilant person. I used to be a bah humbug, let me tell you. I used to literally be Scrooge. Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, I would always volunteer to work because I said, I have no family that I want to be around. I just want to go to work and then go to the bar after, blah, 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 blah. I had such a poor attitude towards holidays and family time. I viewed my family as being incredibly dysfunctional, so I didn't want to spend time with them, which led me to drink. Now looking back, I'm going to be a little bit of a buzzkill here, of course. Now looking back, most of my family is gone. And I say, holy crap, I had a lot of time that I wasted with them. And I wish I could go back to Thanksgiving and Christmas with them instead of going to the bar. But before we get to that point, I want to help you with a mindset that was kind of the first straw that broke the camel's back of needing alcohol in the holidays. This is a perspective shift that I want to lend to you because I think perspective shifts are the cure to everything. When we stop looking at alcohol as the savior, when we stop looking at alcohol as what our society conditions us to look at it as like the most fun thing to do, entertainment, everybody's doing it, it's glamorous, it's romantic, blah, 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 then we start to look at alcohol differently. When we stop seeing it that way, we can start seeing it as like unnecessary, unhealthy. It gets in the way of us having real connections anyway. A lot of thoughts going through my mind right now, but here's the first. I want you to go into this holiday season recognizing that the alcohol industry is going to be pushing propaganda down your throat about how cool it is to drink during the holidays. You will see billboards with holiday drinks being cheers. You will see commercials with people at holiday festivities drinking their beer, drinking their seasonal ale, their seasonal, I don't know, Jack Daniel's cider, whatever it is. You're going to see the alcohol industry promoting this, and they are going to have a chokehold on you if you let them. They're going to say, it's the cool thing to do. It's the family tradition to do this. However, I need you to understand that the alcohol industry does not have your best interests at heart. The alcohol industry is like big pharma. The alcohol industry does not want you to drink responsibly. In fact, 50% or more of their profits come from people who have problematic drinking. They don't want you to drink responsibly. What they do want you to do is continue to use alcohol in the mindset of thinking you're going to be just as happy as those people on their commercials, when in reality, those commercials are not showing people really drinking. They're showing people with props. They're showing people having this perceived glamorous celebration. That's not really what alcohol celebrations look like, right? They usually look like people ended up doing embarrassing shit, yelling at each other, having drunken, sloppy heart-to-hearts, all of these things, not our most shining moments. Just like Big Pharma. Big Pharma doesn't necessarily want you to be healthy. They want you to purchase their medication. And if you look at their commercials, everybody's so happy and everybody just looks so healthy and they feel good. And they are subconsciously hypnotizing you to think that their pill will give you this life. Just like alcohol industries are hypnotizing you to think if you drink that cocktail, you are going to have this fabulous, beautiful time. How many times have you actually woken up the next day and said, thank God I drank last night? It was just like that commercial. We also had so much fun. We looked so put together. We were so crisp and clear with our facial expressions and the way we talked and laughed. If you watch those commercials, you know they are not drinking. They are completely sober because they are working. And most of the time, successful people that have made it to the big screen do not drink with a problem behavior. They might have some things at celebrations, but they have one. Not like the commercial insists, it looks like they're drinking responsibly, but you can pretty much gather that they would behind the scenes be drinking more. I don't know if that makes sense, what I'm saying right now, but it would insinuate that one in the commercial is going to lead to others. And so you think they're drinking like that and they look like that, then I can have that one. And that's going to lead to the second, the third, the fifth one still looking just like that picture on the screen where everybody's hair is all nice and their makeup isn't all swiped down their face. I'm talking about my real live footage of my old drinking behaviors. It's like, damn. Instantly, I look drunk. They do not have drunk people on those commercials because they don't want you to see how you actually look when you're drinking. Rob, did you have something there?
It's marketing.
It's marketing. And marketing is literally subconscious programming. They don't just record one advertisement. They record a flight of campaigns so that you see the message over and over and over and over again. Turn the TV off. Get off of social media if you're seeing a lot of these adverts. Because marketing gets you emotionally, almost romantically involved with that idea that alcohol is the cool thing to do at the holidays. I want you to see the alcohol industry as a bunch of greedy, immoral, don't give a fuck about the buyer types of people, just like Big Pharma. Because that's the truth. They do not want you to drink responsibly. They want you to buy their product and they don't actually care about you. What's funny is that if you really go down the black hole, the rabbit hole, is that you'll see that drink responsibly campaigns and a lot of big alcohol somehow has ties over here to Big Pharma with medication that helps you quit drinking. Medication that's supposed to help you reduce your cravings. Medication that will help you actually get sick if you drink. It's wild. So, to start off going into the holiday season, I want you to give the middle finger to every alcohol advertisement and really have this attitude of, that's not real life. That's not what my life looks like when I drink. That's not what my family functions look like when I drink. Here's another one. This is my second perspective shift. I've talked about this before, but I just really want to hone in on this. When my brother passed away, I was 12, started drinking when I was 13. And it was pretty much every holiday experience between the time that I was 13 until I was 30 that I ruined. In my teens, it was sneaking Franzia out of the box wine during Thanksgiving and Christmas. Into my early 20s, it was going to the bar instead of going to the family functions. Of course, I mentioned most of those people are now gone. I cannot go back. I cannot spend time with them this year. And I look back so heavy-hearted that I didn't take up the opportunity to do so sooner. There were also a few holidays where I would go to the bar and I would come home to a house full of loving family members, and I would start a fight. There were 2 Christmases where I came home red-faced angry that Eric was not there, that my mom was a drunk, that my life was in shambles, all of these perceived notions, all of this suppressed pain that I had, that alcohol amplified and magnified. I would come home to my loving dad, my grandma. I remember this was one of the last Christmases. I yelled at my grandma, and I don't even know why. I think I said, "You don't even know what a hard life is because you've had an easy life," which was not the truth. And my dad said, "You do not talk to your grandmother that way." It's his mom. My dad yelled at me in my drunken state, and I started hammer fisting my dad on his chest, on his jaw, trying to punch him and hit him. That was one of the last Christmases that I ever had with my dad. I'm not saying that everybody's experience is like that. You might be somebody who has 3 or 4 and you're fine and you don't make a fool out of yourself. But with alcohol, if you don't have it under control, it is a gamble. And it could end up like that. It could end up even worse. You could end up getting a DUI on a holiday, literally ruining the moments that you have with the people around you. Now, I mentioned it started when Eric passed away. It ended when I was 30. My dad passed away basically the beginning of October, late September, when I was 27. Thanksgiving that year, 2018, I was, it had only been a couple months. I was surrounded by my husband's family, my in-laws, and I absolutely embarrassed myself. I lectured my sister and brother-in-law on how lucky they were to have a dad and how spoiled they were for ever saying anything ill about him, ever having, those little kind of moments with our parents, like, "Gosh, Dad really annoyed me today." That was so bad to me when I was drinking that year. That was such a big trigger. And I had emotional outbursts that entire holiday season, yelling at my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law for not being grateful for their father. How embarrassing. And also, not only how embarrassing was that, but how healing could it have been for me had I not been drinking, had I just let the love that they were trying to pour into me be received. That could have actually been a holiday season where I saw that there was more love being offered than what was missing. I was so focused on what was missing that I didn't let my attention settle on everything that I had. I want you to think about everything that you have this holiday season. I don't want to be cheesy, but I have to. I want you to think about everything to be grateful for. Just like last episode, you can think about what's true or what's good. I was so focused on the truth that my dad wasn't there, that my brother wasn't there, that my mom wasn't there because of her alcoholism. She was still alive at that point, but we were in no contact. I was so focused on what was missing that I couldn't see what was good, which was my in-laws. Big hugs, each of you, because you just poured so much love into me and I was absolutely nasty about it. The following year, it was 2019. I mentioned in the Sober October episode that I really made a buffoon of myself at that holiday party, and then something clicked, just like what I mentioned before. I drank because Eric was gone, because my mom was an alcoholic and I ruined moments with my dad, my grandmother, my other set of grandparents, aunts and uncles, all of these things. And it was after my dad's passing and just a few more experiences to really pour salt in the wound that I woke up and I realized if I'm going to always drink because what I'm missing, I am missing out on what I have. So I don't want to scare you, but I want you to realize that this could be the last holiday with some of your family members. You don't know what 1 year could look like 1 year from now. And let me tell you the sting of regret that you will feel. I get choked up talking about it. The sting of regret that you will feel if you do not decide to say, I'm going to control my alcohol, I'm going to go moderation, or I'm just not going to drink because I know my feelings are a little bit explosive right now. Being around my family is very triggering. You need to be present with that soberly so that you can heal and cope with it versus escaping and then making an ass out of yourself and maybe making those relationships more strained when you don't know how long you have with them. What I mentioned about me hitting my dad, one of the last holidays that we had together, that drove my drinking for those last 2 years after he passed away, year and a half. That drove my regret and my shame and my remorse. And I would give literally anything to go back to that moment and say, I'm not drinking tonight and I'm going to sit at home with my dad and my grandma and we're going to watch Christmas movies and we're going to have snacks and we're going to talk. I'm going to ask them about, hey, grandma, what's the first Christmas you remember? And I'm going to learn about my family because now that they're gone, I have so many questions about my great-grandparents and my grandparents there in their life and my dad's upbringing and all these things that used to annoy me when I was drinking. I would be so grateful to have those opportunities back right now. So I want you to imagine for a split second, Christmas of 2025. Are you going to be present with it because of your remorse from Christmas of 2024? Or can you say Christmas of 2024, Thanksgiving of 2024, I'm going to embrace the ability of being present and not escaping the only family that I have? Now, if your family is dysfunctional, highly toxic, and you believe that you just shouldn't spend time with them, that's a different conversation. We're going to talk about boundary setting in just a moment. But if you are creating the majority of the problems with your family, it's hard to become aware of. But if you are actually the problem within your family, then you need to shake that off and say, I'm going to go in with a positive attitude. I'm going to be grateful for the family that I do have, the opportunities that I have to sit down next to my grandma or my mom or my dad or my sister or my brother, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins. I'm going to sit down with them and I'm going to allow myself to feel at home with them. To be honest, holidays, sometimes now, I have this sense of being homesick. And I'm sitting at home because I don't have the family that I once had. But I have to train my mind to say that might be the truth, but there's also good here that I have my in-laws. I have especially my two sister-in-laws. I never had sisters growing up, so now I really focus, how good is it that I have sisters now? That's so cool. My nieces and nephews. My husband, even if it's just him and I sitting on the couch with our dogs, this is our family, this is our home. And sometimes I do have to shake that feeling of feeling homesick while I'm sitting at home, knowing that that's just an amplified feeling of the remorse that I had and things that I'm still working through, forgiving myself for ruining those Christmases and not letting Christmas be a trigger of all of those painful memories of the past, but an invitation to create new memories, an invitation to be present right here, right now, and not just wake up and crack open a beer or make a mimosa or a Bloody Mary, because honestly, that is a lot of family traditions, but that doesn't mean that you have to do that. You have this invitation, this permission slip to be present in the moment with your family, with your loved ones, with your work colleagues. Celebrate the meaning of the holidays versus celebrating the purchase of alcohol, which is what alcohol industries are going to try to get you to do. Okay, now that I've gotten kind of the mindset things out of the way, I want to talk about some strategies. I want you to look at this holiday season and be different. Be different than the normal person who will say, oh, it's the holidays. I'm okay with putting on some holiday pounds. I'm okay with relaxing on my routine. I'm okay with letting my boundaries slide around my healthy habits. Or I'm okay with putting my healthy habits off until January 1. I'm okay with not doing jack shit for myself on a day-to-day basis to make myself feel good because it's the holidays and the holidays are so fun that alone should make me feel good, right? Wrong. The holidays alone aren't going to make you feel good. In fact, if you're not doing things to put yourself in a positive mindset, if you don't have the discipline to put yourself in a positive mindset, then you are going to look at the holidays as what is wrong with them, what's missing. Are you bored without alcohol? Are you having to go to all of these parties? I'm going to be honest, and my client knows, we've talked about this, so she knows I'm not making fun of her, but this is an attitude adjustment that we've worked on. You know, she's got a very busy life, a very successful life. Her husband is very far up in the ladder of his corporation. And when we first started working together, a big attitude adjustment we had to work on was, I've got all of these parties to go to and I'm always like pulled in all of these different directions and I have to show up. And I hear what she's saying. Like there's some nights where my husband has asked me to go to a military function or a jujitsu function. I'm like, oh gosh, I wish I could sit here on the couch. And yes, there are boundaries you need to draw if it's like every single night there's an event. That's something we worked on. But all in all, I'm like, girl, you're complaining about something that most people dream about, having all of these festivities that you're invited to, having all of these functions to go to and wear beautiful clothes and go talk to new people and meet strangers and have them become friends of yours. Attitude is everything. So as you get the holiday invites, don't look at it as like, fuck, I got to go to all these things. If you're getting that sense, then don't say yes to all of them, but be grateful for some of them. Be like, oh my gosh, my life is so full. What do I think people in other countries lesser fortunate than ours, what do I think they would think about this opportunity of being able to travel to go to this networking function, this Christmas party, this Friendsgiving, this Thanksgiving event? Actually, most of my complaints are just out of the habit of complaining about everything. I'm turning even positive experiences into negative ones because of my mental habit of looking at what's wrong with things. So if you're finding yourself complaining, oh, I have to go to these functions, shut up. You get to go to those functions. You get to make friends. You get to go out and wear pretty clothes and eat good food. And you can order a Diet Coke at the bar. You can order a club soda at the bar. And you don't have to think about alcohol that's missing. Think about everything that you're getting from that. This world is about living and about stimulation with other human beings and about having good conversation and human connection. It's not about sitting at home and saying no to everything. It's about having that balance of your personal time devoted to your routines and then your human connection, your interdependence on other humans. So sorry about the rant there, but that's just one of my things that I have when it comes to holiday season. I have to go to all of these parties. You know how spoiled you sound? Say no to a few of them, but go to some of them and have fun and have the expectation of fun. And before you go to those parties, before you go to the functions, before the actual day of the holiday, Thanksgiving or Christmas, Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, whatever it is, follow your personal routines so that when you do those things and you're immersed in other people and that connection, you're in a positive mindset and you feel good about yourself. You've kept your personal promises. So when you walk into the room, when you're sitting there opening Christmas presents, you already feel good because you've done something that's good for yourself. It was Christmas of 2020. So I had been sober for about 12 months at that point. Christmas of 2020, my husband and I went to Pennsylvania to visit his parents and his sister and the fam. And I decided I'm going to do something different. Obviously, I had been sober for a while, so I had a good ground underneath me. But what I did is I brought my laptop, and at that time, we had on an external hard drive the Shaun T T25 workouts. So if you remember Insanity, I think those were like an hour, maybe even 90 minutes. I don't know. I never did the full Insanity program, but kind of like P90X, but by Shaun T. My husband got the T25 program, which was like condensed Insanity. It was 25 minutes per workout. And what I would do, because I was already aware of my automatic reaction to feel jealous of his family, I would listen to them kind of poke fun at each other and razz each other. And that would hurt me because I would look at it as like them not being grateful for each other and they don't know how good they have it. And I had a lot of things that I was aware that I was still mending, and I didn't want to crave alcohol. So what I did was every morning I got up 7 a.m. and I took my laptop and I went into the basement and I did at least one of those T25 workouts. And it wasn't from the perspective of I'm doing this to be skinny. I'm doing this to earn my turkey. I'm doing this to earn my pie or my cake later. I did it from the perspective of I'm doing this to help myself feel that much better throughout the day. So I would do my T25 in the basement and then I would go for a walk. It was Pennsylvania in December. That means it was cold as fuck. So I had to have my bundled up clothes and I would go out. I could see my breath. I think a few of the days it snowed. I could feel the snow crunching under my feet, the ice on the road. And I still went for a walk because I knew that that would help me feel good about whatever happened that day. And what I experienced was when I got done and I took my warm shower and I got dressed and I got down on the couch with everybody by, say, 9 a.m., everybody else was kind of lethargic, kind of like low energy, kind of bored and looking for entertainment. A lot of times that meant that they would have, a morning mimosa or Bloody Mary. I was like, no, I'm good. I'm in a good mindset. I'm excited. I'm energized for the day. I'm looking for what I can do to help out. Hey, my mom-in-law, hey, Kim, can I help you with the food? Can I help you in the kitchen? That was so opposite of my original personality when I was drinking. It was like, I'm just going to sit on the couch and drink and let my stepmom cook all the food and not be involved at all in the kitchen. So I was like looking for ways to be helpful. I was looking for things to feel good about, to feel accomplished in. And it was just amazing how that morning routine helped set me up to be invincible against boredom, against feelings of negativity, feelings of comparison. That was like a major syndrome I had. Was anytime I was around what I used to call, quote unquote, a Kodak picture perfect family, I was enraged, especially if I had a drink in me. I would just be so jealous that they never went through the things that I went through. And this was all just my pain that I was carrying around and alcohol was magnifying, right? I was so angry at them for having their family put together. And I would say, oh, these things that you're complaining about are so small. Look at my life. And it was just like, even thinking about it, like makes me so grossed out. It was literally my attitude towards everything. But that was the year that it changed into, wow, I'm here in this incredibly loving family that have been blessed with good things, good memories their entire time here. I'm so blessed that I just gained a mom-in-law and a father-in-law that love me and accept me, and they know my drinking history and they're not bringing it up. They're not making fun of me. I love that I have 2 sisters and brother-in-laws and nieces and nephews. And it opened my eyes to how much I had instead of focusing on the lack of alcohol or the lack of family members that were there. I know not everybody resonates with, I hope not everybody resonates with the fact that your family members might not be there for the holidays, but I hope that you can see that there is a shift that occurs when you take care of yourself so that you see the good in everything that's around you. Because that is life. There are equal opposites in everything. And if my mind is trained to be magnetized to the bad, I will feel bad. But if I do things with discipline, if I follow through on my personal promises, I'm already training my brain that I'm in control, that I choose my thoughts, that I choose my follow-through actions. And then it can only ruminate on what's good because that's what I'm in harmony with. So this is so much more than just tips and tricks to get through the holidays. This is physics. This is the way that your body and your mind operates. This is the way that attitude is a mind-body creation. Your thoughts to feelings to what you're in harmony and resonance with is what you pick up on in your outer world and how your outer world is shaped through your perceptions. We can look at something, the same objective situation, family sitting together on a holiday, and we can come up with two different perspectives. If I'm in a negative mental state, I will look at it and I will say, fuck you guys, you've had it perfect. You've had it easy your whole life. You're a Kodak picture perfect family. But if I look at that same scene through the lens of positivity, I'm thankful for my health. I got up today. I said I was going to work out. I said I was going to eat right. I said I was going to drink my water. I said that I was going to be physically active and do my gratitudes. And I did all of that. Now I'm in a positive state. I look at that same objective scene and I say, boy, I'm so grateful for this. And it creates this feeling inside of me of gratitude. It feels like a warm hug from the inside. It feels like I don't need anything outside of me to feel better. I'm intoxicated by gratitude and by positivity just because I had discipline and I did what I needed to do today. So double down on your routines this holiday. Stick to your decisions. How we do one thing is how we do everything. So if you set out a goal to say, I'm going to work out during the holidays, I'm going to keep up my health habits, and then one day you slide, what you're going to find is that you also slide in your boundary around alcohol. You also slide in your boundary around maybe going to the family member's house that you said you wouldn't because you know that they're toxic or they're dysfunctional. I know that there is a way to entertain and be present around toxic family members, but sometimes it does come to a point where you just say, for my mental health, I can't feel good about this. I can't see good in them because this is literally a family member. I had to do this with my mom. This is a family member that can't help herself, so I can't help her, and I can't think differently, so I have to separate. But if for some reason you start to slack on your boundaries with your health routines, then you'll see your boundaries everywhere else sliding. Your discipline lacking in one area will equal discipline lacking in other areas where you set your boundaries to say, I'm not going to let my mom's behavior affect me. And then all of a sudden it is. You're letting it affect you. You're focusing on what's wrong in her instead of what's right in her. I wish I could go back and I could challenge my mind to do that more with my mom before she passed away, but I never had that opportunity, and I'm not going to let myself dwell in it. I forgive her. I know that she is looking down. She's with me, and we are in harmony together. She's helping me with this vision. But there were holidays where I was drunk. I was saying, because I already backslid on my boundary around alcohol, I might as well go see my mom. And then we got in a fight, and then that just, two drunks butting heads didn't equal a right. So it just got catastrophized. And so what I want to say is that your routines are more than routines to lose weight or be skinny or whatever it is. Your routines, your healthy habits during the holiday season are to keep your mind in a healthy place and to continue helping you draw healthy boundaries around things that don't necessarily have to do with food or exercise. How you draw boundaries to say, I'm going to exercise is going to be the same way you draw a boundary to say, no, I would not like that drink. No, I don't think it's a good idea to talk to my drunk mom today. No, I don't think it's a good idea to go see my family members who have a lot of judgment about me and they bring me down. Yes, I'm going to say yes to my workouts and bringing gratitude into the experience that I do have with healthy family members, with family members that show their love, with family members that, I don't want to sound narcissistic here, but I think you'll get the point. Family members that are worthy of my gratitude, meaning that they're healthy, they show you love, they show themselves love, so you are worthy of each other. I know in the past and in holiday seasons, I would try to be worthy for my dysfunctional family members and say, maybe if I act like this, then my mom will accept me. Maybe if I act like this, my mom will be nice to me today. But then I had to click and to realize she's not worthy of my work to make that relationship good. So I'm going to let her go and let her on her own path. And I'm going to focus on family members that are worthy, and I'm worthy of them. They're worthy of me in my positive mindset, doing my healthy things. So all in all, you have a positive outcome, a positive experience. And then guess what that means? If all of these pieces of the puzzle are falling in place together, then come January 1st, any of your New Year's resolutions are going to be that much easier, that much more exciting and enthusiastic. Anything that you set as a goal for yourself for 2025 is going to be so much closer than if you spend the next month and a half self-sabotaging, escaping, neglecting yourself, neglecting your family and the memories that you could make, neglecting those parties that you could go and meet the person you've been looking for your whole life, that new best friend, that soulmate, that partner, that support system, that new inner circle member. See everything as an opportunity this holiday season, an opportunity to try new things, to focus on what's good rather than what's true. And to close out the episode, focus on how you want things to go with family events, those networking functions, Friendsgiving. Focus on how you want them to go and then expect that. There's something called the expectation theory, which is so real and valid that my husband, who attended West Point Military Academy, they teach this to future commanders, that what you expect becomes reality through your actions. So they would say, if you expect to win a battle, you're going to act in a certain way that brings that about. Where if you expect to lose a battle, you really will lose that battle because of your mannerisms, your hesitation, your fear, your expectancy of the loss. But in day-to-day life, your expectation of the party, this is going to be so lame without alcohol. Guess what? It's going to be lame because you've already decided that. You've told your mind, find all the lame things in this party, and that's how you're going to feel. If you go to a party or a family function saying this is going to be boring, your mind will ignore the entertaining things and it will pick up on the boring things. If you go into a Christmas Eve, Christmas Day sort of event with family and you say, this is going to be so hard. My family, we just don't get along. I'm expecting this to go really bad. Somehow along the way, works in mysterious circumstances, but somehow along the way, your mind is only going to be in harmony and resonate with what's hard about that experience. It's actually going to create perspectives and perceptions that mimic your expectation. No matter how loving the energy is, because you've told your mind this is going to be hard, this is going to be dysfunctional, this is going to be toxic, your mind will filter that and perceive that love as something ugly, something toxic, something dysfunctional, just like I did when I was surrounded by Brian's family pouring love into me, but I went into it thinking this is going to suck. These people are just spoiled. They're Kodak picture perfect family. They don't know how hard it is. So I perceived everything and soaked everything in like a sponge that mimicked that expectation. So be aware. What do you expect? And what would you like to expect? Convince yourself. Visualize what it looks like with a positive expectancy. Expect success. Expect fun. Expect gratitude. Expect love. And your mind will shape everything into that. Your imagination will mold your outer reality to that. If you are expecting nothing but love, your mom-in-law could come up and say, you look fat, and your mind will somehow interpret that as, wow, she loves me. I know it sounds wild, but the mind is wild like that. If you are in high vibes and you expect good, your mind will shape everything into good. No matter how bad things are, your mind will see the positive in it, the thing to be grateful for. It'll say, well, it could have been worse. It could have been like this, guys. And you'll just shake it off and you'll have fun opening presents and not being blackout drunk and hitting your dad. You know, it all goes down in the mind. So set up that expectation. That is the exercise for this week, to journal on Thanksgiving Day, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Journal on those experiences right now. Write out your ideal circumstance. Ideal circumstance. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to have a good workout. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to walk my dog. I'm going to take the kids in a stroller and we're going to race from mailbox to mailbox. Something like that. I don't know. Whatever it is that you're going to do for your physical activity. And then write about the vibe of the day. How would you like it to go? How can you start building that image so that you expect it? Start to visualize it in your mind and watch how this works. It is magical, but it's also, like Albert Einstein said, I shared last episode, this is physics, not philosophy. Match the frequency of the reality that you desire, and you cannot help but get that reality. This is not philosophy. This is physics. Write it out, become clear with that vision, expect success, and then watch how it happens. Now, I don't want to take away, I know this is kind of off subject, but I don't want to take away from some notes that Rob and I were exchanging before this episode about discipline, because I do think that discipline is incredibly important as you're moving into the holiday season. Making the decision to go alcohol-free, you will need to incite even more discipline if you're going to be moderating, because now you're straddling a line where you need a lot of discipline. It's actually probably going to be easier to say no completely. But when it comes to making the decision and then following through with these routines, sometimes you're going to have to stop feeling and just move into action. Rob, I know you had a lot of thoughts with discipline, and we were talking about how it really fits with this episode, as far as, you know, needing to show up, needing to work out that morning, needing to maybe do a cold plunge that morning. I might have distracted you, but I'd love to hear any closing thoughts on discipline for this episode.
I think it becomes a skill you have to really, really, really practice, because it boils down to just, you know, your whole mantra is changing the mind, but sometimes you also just have to shut off the mind and just do it. You know?
Yeah. So there's kind of two ways that our thinking can go. We can either think different to change our behavior, or we change our behavior to change our thinking. And if we can't think differently about a situation, if it's just like my mind is a wall, it's not, that typically means that you don't have, okay, I'm going to get a little scientific. You don't have cells of recognition for how it would feel to be disciplined. You don't have you literally have not built brain cells or neural pathways of saying, I know how it feels to wake up and work out. So right now I have no cells of recognition of like that being a good thing. So I have no ability to be disciplined. So you just turn off your brain, you turn off your thoughts, and you follow through with the action to then change the way you think about it. You build cells of recognition to say, this is why I work out in the morning. You know, we were talking about it, like sometimes you literally just turn off your brain, you move into action, and then that's when the positive feeling comes, right?
I think so, yeah. Like sometimes you don't feel like doing something, you come out of it being super happy that you did it.
Yeah. Like we talked about, if I need to go to the gym and my head is hitting a wall, I can't think any differently about it. I turn my thoughts off and I just am like, I literally go grab my shoes and I say, I'm not thinking about this anymore. I'm just thinking about how to tie my shoes. I'm just thinking about how to grab my keys. I'm thinking about how to get in my car. I'm not thinking 5 steps in advance. I'm just thinking right here, right now, getting in the present moment so that then I can use behavior to change the thought. That's a little bit more of cognitive behavior change, cognitive behavior therapy, CBT, where you say you use action to change your beliefs. A lot of Magnify is the other way. It's you change your beliefs to then change your action. But I think both sides of the coin should be used. There are several ways where I just had to experiment and experience. That's the key word. You have to experience it so that then your cells of recognition are built. Those new neural pathways are built. So you say, today I don't feel like waking up. It's Christmas morning. I don't feel like waking up to go to the gym or go to the basement to do my workout, to put on Maggie's YouTube workout video from her channel. I don't feel like doing that, but I'm just going to turn off my feelings. I'm going to go into it. You do it. You feel good. Then the next day you say, I know how good it made me feel yesterday to be disciplined in the morning. I'm going to do that again. And then discipline becomes a superpower. You might then fail one day with your discipline and you'll feel how off you are if you don't do your routine. And you'll say, gosh, I crave that routine. I crave that discipline in my day now because I see the benefit. If you've never done it before, you don't see the benefit. You don't have cells of recognition. It's going to be very hard to just imagine up a good result. And that's where discipline comes in. As Jocko says, discipline equals freedom. Discipline equals freedom from looming thoughts. Discipline equals freedom from poor self-image. Discipline equals freedom from cravings to distract and escape. Discipline equals freedom from health issues, from mental health issues. I could go on and on. Little plug for Jocko Willink. That was one of my favorite teachers in 2020 as I was recreating my own discipline. So with that being said, do not forget to create your little list of expectations for your holidays. Journal about what you want to happen on Thanksgiving, on Friendsgiving, on the night of the holiday party for your work. Remember not to be like me in 2019, where the CEO and my husband had to carry me down the stairs at a bar on Riverwalk in Savannah, Georgia, where then I face planted on the concrete before I got in my Uber and I had to cover up a black eye on Monday. So just don't do that. Don't expect that. Expect success. Think different in order to drink different or never again. Happy holidays. So much love. We will talk soon. It means the entire world to me that you have been here with me, letting me share my experiences and hopefully helping open your eyes to a bright, beautiful life ahead of you as well. So if you are loving this show, please, please, please subscribe, like, comment, and especially share this with somebody that might be in need. Please help get the word out. Word of mouth is so important. And I know that you're somebody special who can help me in this mission for thinking differently in order to drink differently or never again. Make sure you reach out if you have any questions you want discussed on the podcast. I'm here for it. So I'll talk to you soon. Signing out, Magnify Maggie.